Hey guys, what's up? Andrew here, and Elder Scrolls Month continues on the channel. Now today we're going to talk about one of the most vital parts of your experience when you play an Elder Scrolls game. That's the race you play as. That's right, today we're going to talk about race. Now before you say, "That's racist!" Well, I guess it kind of is, but these are made up races in a pretend world. So, I don't think I'll be offending anyone. And, I like them all. They're fun to play as. And, geez, why am I trying to be politically correct about a game and the races you can play in a game? You know what? My top 10 list of my favorite Elder Scrolls races. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Number 10. That's right, guys. Coming in at number 10 are the Imperials. Now, they're a pretty cool race, and we got to see their home province of Cyrodiil and Oblivion, and they're always going to hold a special place in my heart. But to be honest, they're kind of boring. If I'm in a fantasy world, I hardly want to play as a Roman. That's essentially what they are. But they're pretty cool. I like how they're guards and, legionnaires, and they're pretty much good for whatever. So, yeah, they get number 10 on the list. Number 9. Red Guards. These guys come from the Alakir Desert in Hammerfell, and they're pretty much renowned warriors. They're good. I like their adrenaline rush ability, and they're fun if you want to play a warrior, but once again, they're pretty much just humans, and I don't really like playing humans that much in a fantasy game when I can be other stuff. But they're really cool, don't get me wrong, and I like the things they say, especially in Oblivion. In Oblivion, they're kind of like, tough guys from the streets, and in Skyrim, they're more like, from North Africa. But they're both really cool. They're really cool representations. Number 8. If you like magic and you like being a human, the Breton's probably the best choice for you. You see, they have the best inclination for magic in the Elder Scrolls games among humans, so they're pretty good for that kind of stuff, but lately with Elder Scrolls Online, they've been kind of being portrayed as somewhat of an Assassin's Creed type build. I'm sure you guys have seen the trailers where the guy's running around doing all kinds of Ezio type shit, so I guess they're good Nightblades too. Really in the Elder Scrolls, any race can be anything. You could build an orc, make him the best sorcerer of all time, but you know what I'm saying. What they're naturally inclined to do, Bretons are pretty good with magic, and I guess with being a Nightblade. Plus, we all like Bellathor, if I had a sister, I'd sell her in a second. Who doesn't like some good old-fashioned human trafficking? That's why Bretons get this spot. Number 7. Are you a cat person? Because if you are, you might want to play as a Kajeet. You see, this feline race from the sands of elsewhere, they excel as merchants, they travel the land of the caravans, but they're also great thieves. You see, a Kajeet has the ability to see in the dark, like most cats in the real world, and they have an ability that can cause enemies to run away from them. At least in Oblivion they do. Not to mention, they have an amazing addiction to drugs if you're into that kind of stuff. You see, in the world of the Elder Scrolls, there's a drug called skooma, and these cat people, cat men, are really obsessed with it. So if you want to roleplay a drug addict that likes to sell illegal goods and steal things, look no further than the Kajeet. Number 6. Alright guys, let's be honest. Who does not love getting your Legolas on when you play these types of games? And if you do, I highly recommend you play a Wood Elf. You see, Wood Elves, or Bosmer as they call themselves, are known as the best archers in the whole of Tamriel, which is the world where the Elder Scrolls takes place. So if you like shooting things up full of holes, just being a badass with a bow, I strongly recommend just try out a Wood Elf. They also have an ability that lets you control animals, so you can turn a hostile animal like a wolf into an ally temporarily, which is not the most useful ability, but it does come in handy early on in the game, and it can be fun to play with. So there's Wood Elves for you guys. Number 5. This fucking guy. Alright, I'm sorry, I just love drawing that tune. Anyways, coming in at number 5 are the High Elves, or the Altmer as they call themselves. Now, these are widely known as pretty much the best race to play as if you want to be a mage, because they, off the bat, get a higher base magica stat than any other race. Now, the Altmer are very snobbish because they're one of the older races, if not the oldest. So they tend to look down upon other races, and because they live so long, they can excel at so many kinds of skills, particularly magic. Well, the only downside to them, besides their attitude, is they have a weakness to fire, frost, and shock spells. but really that's not too bad because they're pretty easy to avoid, especially in Oblivion where they move at like 2 miles an hour. So really, there's next to no downsides to playing one, and they're a lot of fun. Not to mention, in Elder Scrolls Online, they lead the Aldmeri Dominion, and their queen is pretty hot. Orcs. Now, pretty much every fantasy world has them. They could be mindless, bums like in the Lord of the Rings, or they could just be a playable race like in Warcraft or something like that. Orcs are a lot of fun, and they're pretty much the best race for being a warrior, in my opinion. They have an ability called Berserker Rage, which allows them to do double damage, but also they'll take double damage. So it's really, they're going berserk. Plus, I love how in Skyrim, in the College of Winterhold, there's that old orc who's a librarian. He's like, I swear to God, if you touch my books, oh my God. And I mean, they're a lot of fun. I like how they have their very honorable system. They live in strongholds amongst themselves, and they live by the code of Malakath, which is pretty much like, don't fuck with me, I won't fuck with you. Fuck with me, and we have a problem. So, I mean, orcs are tough guys, and once again, in the Dark Brotherhood in Oblivion, there's an orc who's a member, and he pretty much does not like to sneak. He'll just go in there guns blazing. They're a lot of fun. Number 3. I know I said that I don't like playing as humans, but hear me out. Before Skyrim came out, Nords were nothing to me. They were nothing. They were stupid. But this game gave them so much culture and just made them so badass. I mean, these guys are so damn honorable. Mind you, they have their problems, but I mean, they don't even fear death. They die an honorable death. They go to Sovngarde. They pretty much have a party for eternity. Plus, they're useful. They have an ability that lets them resist the cold, and a power called Battle Cry, which makes most enemies run away from them for a certain amount of time, which can come in handy early on in the game when you're in a bind. Also, I like how they have an ability, without being Dragonborn, to study and learn the Thu'um, or the voice, which basically lets them speak as dragons do and do all kinds of amazing things. Also, I'm looking forward to Elder Scrolls Online because they're the leaders of the Ebonheart Pact. And their king, I think his name is Jorund, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, looks like a badass, especially if you've seen the live action trailers. You just see all kinds of cool stuff that he's doing. Number 2. Before I reveal which race number 2 is, we need to go back to the beginning so we can understand it better. Now, we're going to have to go back to the first time I ever played an Elder Scrolls game. Now, must have been 2006, and I was into The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker big time, so I love that kind of games. And one of my good friends was over, and he said, hey, if you like this kind of game, you should try out Oblivion. And this piqued my curiosity. So naturally, I went to his house, and he let me turn on the game. I played it, saw the cutscene, and I saw this certain race, the Argonians. Yes, I saw the Argonians. And instantly I'm like, I gotta pick this race. This is a cool race. Lizard people, I mean, come on. And I named this person Pizza Guy, which was pretty funny. But nostalgia kind of rose Argonians to the ranks. Argonians are just plain cool. They can breathe underwater. They are immune to poison, and they're virtually completely resistant to diseases. This is because their homeland, Black Marsh, like the name suggests, is a giant swamp. So they need these to survive better. Also, I just like how they're kind of mysterious race, and they've had cool roles in the Elder Scrolls. I like how there was Tinava in the Dark Brotherhood, and what's his name, Amusei in the Thieves Guild, both in Oblivion, of course. There weren't too many in Skyrim, and I didn't like how they all were pretty much slaves at the docks. But I did like, what's his name, Vizira in the Dark Brotherhood. They always have cool roles, especially the shadow skills. There are Argonians that are born under the sign of the shadow, which is a constellation, and they're taken from birth and trained from an early age to be elite assassins. I mean, how cool is that? They literally live for the kill. They're a cool race. I have a lot of fun with them, and they're always going to hold a special place in my heart. And they say the weirdest shit. Number 1. Argonians may hold a special place in my heart for nostalgia purposes, But Dark Elves, or the Dunmer as they call themselves, are by far the coolest race in the Elder Scrolls, hands down. Now this race is from the province of Morrowind, which is a volcanic region with much diversity, if you've seen my Why You Should Play Morrowind video, and they have a resistance to fire of 50%, not to mention they're naturally adept at using the sword, magic, and the bow right off the bat, so you can kind of make them into anything. Also, the first Dark Elf I ever saw was Valandreth in Oblivion. Remember that guy from the cell across from you that just bitching you out the whole time? Like, you're gonna die here, woohoo, I'm gonna have sex with your wife, all kinds of shit like that. I mean, he was a total asshole. He was a Dark Elf, and he was an embarrassment to the race, so it was a lot of fun in the Dark Brotherhood when you got to hunt him down to his cell and take him out. But I digress. They're a really cool race. I like the lore about them. I like how, you know, they worship their ancestors. They're very honorable, but they're kind of closed-minded. Also, I like in Skyrim how they became, from such proud people, they were humbled completely when the Red Mountain, their volcano, erupted and destroyed their homeland, forcing them to scatter around the world trying to find a new home. They have a great story. They're fun to play as. They just look cool. I mean, they have red eyes, for Christ's sake. And they're the best. There you have it, guys. I guess that was the most racist video I will ever produce on this channel. At least the races I pretend, and, you know, no one's going to come down hating on me. Anyways, all these races can do anything. You can make yourself do anything with any race, like I said throughout the video. So don't by any means feel like you have to be a warrior if you're an orc or something like that, because you don't. But I'd like to know what your favorite races are in the Elder Scrolls, so feel free to share that in the comments or post a video response. Also, check out some of the Elder Scrolls content I have on the channel, because like I said pretty much a million times, Elder Scrolls month is the month of February on this channel, so you're going to have plenty of stuff to experience. But don't leave yourself there, because we got Let's Plays and game reviews, not to mention just when I sit down and speak about games. I'm passionate about games and I love sharing with you guys. So I'm Andrew. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And most importantly, you guys go have an amazing day. I'll see you guys later.